I'm Shalise, and welcome to Coffee Talk Tuesday. And I am here today with, of course, my lovely co-host, Trip. Hi, Trip.
Wait, let's get the mug up there. How about that? I am perfectly centered.
Cheers.
Beautiful. I take this out to bars and restaurants everywhere I go, and so far people are big fans of yours.
Oh, well, yeah, of course they are.
Especially when people aren't in bars and restaurants, but be that
right, exactly, right? I was going to say, do you just stand outside and pretend like there's a bunch of people there? Or
Hey, our show 2 weeks ago with your friend who owns the bar in South Jordan gave me a lot of ammunition.
West Jordan.
Yeah, because all my friends who are to the right of, let's say, whatever, tell me that the small business money is easy to find. And I go, no. These businesses are having trouble. And I hope your friend has gotten some money in, because she seemed like a great boss. And hopefully she can pay her employees.
Yeah. Yes. She's, I think, putting in all the applications and stuff. So we'll see how that goes.
I hope so. But I can't wait till those things get open.
I know, right? Me too. Oh, which is one of the reasons why we have Stef on today. Hi, Stef. Stefiliff. Hello. So she was on our show before when I was just doing it out of my home. Well, now I guess I'm still technically doing it out of my home again. But when I was going solo, and I wanted to bring her back on because since our last show, I've actually been through her program, her 90-day program, and she was an incredible coach to me. And so I just wanted to bring her on to give a little motivation and inspiration and let her basically talk to us about what she does and why she does it and all that good stuff. So hi, Stef, again.
Hi. Well, hello. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. You're so amazing, and I just love you, and you're so, this is just the best time ever. So first off, thanks for letting me be on your show in your home and virtually throughout this whole way. It's been an amazing process. And I think that's how the whole world is kind of communicating right now, right? It's like through virtuality. And I think it's beautiful that we have this source that we can all talk this way. So it's great. Yeah. And thanks for being part of my program. Like, you're my favorite client of all time. So
stop.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Am I allowed to say I have
Yeah,
I don't know.
You can say it to each and every one of your clients separately that they're the best.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But nobody should ever talk to each other. They're like, Wendy, she told me that same thing. I'm like, no.
Stephanie, by the way, where are you right now?
I am in my home. This is my home office right now. This is a picture of me and my little girls. I don't know if you guys can really see it. And then so this is where I'm at.
Where are you in the Salt Lake Valley?
Yeah, I'm in Harriman, Utah, so not too far from you guys. Where are you at?
Okay, great. We're up in South Salt Lake, in beautiful South Salt Lake, but Harriman is wonderful. So what made Shalise such a great client, as it were? Is that when you're a coach, do you call them clients, or what do you call them?
Yeah, clients, friends. I'd say anybody who's coachable, right? Like someone who, Shalise was so coachable and so vulnerable and so willing to take the bull by the horn, so to say, and just be like, okay, let's go, let's make it happen, and to really take action constantly. And I think that's what makes someone be able to make shifts and be able to make changes is, are you coachable and are you willing to learn? Because some people will hire coaches, but they aren't actually willing to do any of the work of it, right? And Shalise was so honest constantly of like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what I'm feeling. Here's what I want to work through. Here's what I want to process. Here's what's happening in my space, and was able for us to go through and dive into everything and then to really think about it and apply the work and apply the steps. And she was so willing to do the work. And that's part of the process, is that it's a practice. It's a daily practice every single day, just like in anything else that we do. It's like a diet. Like if you only stick to it 5 days out of the week, you're not going to get the results that you want. But if you're doing it every single day and consistently showing up and saying, this is working for me, this isn't, then you guys can kind of make a plan and get the right results. And that's exactly what Shalise did. And it's just a beautiful journey to watch her every week, like show up completely different and bring up all this new awareness and like fully dive into it. And it's just amazing. Like I honor her so much for it. It was beautiful. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Shalise, let me ask you, what made Stephanie such a great coach?
You know, I loved the fact that she wasn't just a coach, but she really was a friend and is a friend. And It's funny, when I first heard of Stephanie, I actually heard about her on the radio. She was doing a radio interview. I don't even remember what station I was listening to, but I was like, I need to know that woman and I need to have her on my show. And we instantly connected, and it was so nice to be able to text her whenever and just be like, I'm going through this right now, I'm dealing with this, and have her be my cheerleader and a safe place for me to go and know that I'm not going to be judged. I'm not going to be like ridiculed or looked down on. And it was because of the struggles that I was going through. And believe me, I have a lot of struggles that I go through. I was able to just always feel like I could get through it because I had somebody there that was always cheering me on.
And Stephanie, as a follow-up, what's the difference between coaches and therapists and consultants? Kind of explain that, can you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to me, I would say a coach is someone who's helping you find your own path. Like I'm a guide, I would say. Like I don't have all the answers for you. I think you have all the answers, and I'm just helping you unleash your own answers into yourself and guiding you and coaching you through that direction. And sometimes it might be some tough love, and sometimes it might be like, hey, yeah, go get it, girl. Like I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm your biggest fan. Like let's go make it happen. And it's just kind of creating that process of that. I would say a consultant is they're more giving you the exact steps of like, hey, okay, here's what's wrong. Like they're more the exact problem solver, and they're giving you what the solution is. And it's that one method, that's it. And then I'd say a therapist is they're going more back into like your childhood trauma and like kind of re-bringing stuff up and then diving into that. And while I do help my clients with that, and we talk a lot about their feelings and their emotions, it's not necessarily going back through their past. It's what's happening right now and what has triggered you for that. And can you actually put a word to that emotion? Do you know what it is that you're actually feeling? Because what I find is so often we've learned how to suppress our feelings and our emotions, that if I can help coach you into figuring out what that feeling is, what that word is, and then what you want to do with that. I'm never going to make the decision for you. You know exactly what to do, and it's helping you empower yourself to trust yourself enough that, hey, I can do this. It's like kind of a sounding board. Like, yeah, does that make sense for you? Does that look right for you? And can I offer you some advice? Or can you think of it this way? And I think a coach helps you see it from all perspectives. Like a football coach, right? They watch all the games. They see how all the players are playing. They're like, hey, I watched you from here, from this angle. Here's how you can step up. Here's how you can be better. Even in basketball, you go back and rewatch the film. And that's kind of how I view myself as a coach is I'm talking to my clients. We're going back and rewatching their film of what they're going on currently. I'm helping them see it from all angles and talking from all perspectives, helping them see that viewpoint, and then helping them decide and guiding them to whatever that answer is that's best for them. That makes sense.
That's a great answer. Should everyone have a coach?
I believe everyone should have a coach. I have a coach. I think everybody should always have a coach. I think that it helps hold you accountable. I think that's the biggest thing that most people are looking for is the accountability piece. And oftentimes we think of it as a weakness that we have to have someone like help push us or motivate us. But in fact, I think it's you saying, I will do this, I will make this happen. That makes you be the best you to say, hey, I know that this is where I need a coach at. And maybe it's financially, maybe it's with nutrition, maybe it's with your emotions, maybe it's like totally with your whole life encompassing or relationships. But we all struggle in different areas. And so why not seek someone to help you be your best in that area and coach you through that? Like, I think that's the best thing that you can do. And it's not weakness. It's you finding the best you and seeing from a different perspective. And it teaches you to grow and heal and become something that you never thought you were able to. The other thing that I love about coaching is that I feel like I'm really just a light, like a mirror for someone to be who they really want to be, but it's giving them the permission until they can give themselves the permission. And I'm like, yeah, go, you got this, make it happen. And then they're like, I do have it, let's go. I'm like, yeah, you had it all along, you just had to see it. So it's like you're a guide, like you're shining this light on them until you finally have that, and they see the light in them, right? It's like a eureka moment. It's like when you teach. Do you have kids?
No.
Trip? Okay.
No.
You don't have kids? Okay, well, so even
I'm not allowed. It was the courts, and we won't get into it.
Okay, perfect. Well, even better then. Never mind. Okay, let me ask you this. Have you ever taught someone something?
Yes, I taught Shalise how to disrespect me on a podcast. which she does constantly. Well, before you got on, it was a trip bashing show. I'm a horrible woman.
I'll try to coach.
I need a coach.
Well, that wasn't part of our plan. I'm sorry. But the reason is it's like a eureka moment, right? Like, so think of sometime, go back to a memory of yours. Maybe you taught someone something or you mentored someone in something and you saw like that switch in them. They're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can do this. And it's just like you're shining a light for someone until they can grab the light themselves and they're like, oh, I can do this. And that's like the permission. That's like the power. That's why my company is called Powerhouse, is that every single person is a powerhouse. You're just shining the light in their house until they can see it themselves. And they're like, I can light up my own house. Let's go. I'm like, yes, you can. And my philosophy is a little different because a lot of coaches make it to where you always have to need them. Like that your success is always with them, right? Like to me, that's not it. Like you should be able to have the tools and to go spread your wings and fly. You shouldn't have to always need me. And so my coaching philosophy is a little different in that, where a lot of coaches kind of have like steps of constantly always having to have them. And to me, it's like, I want to give you the tools and I'll always be here to support you. And we can always reconvene at any time. But I want you to see that you have it in you. Go do it.
Well, and that's what's so great about you, Steph, is that's actually exactly what you did. And I think that safety piece that I was talking about, a lot of times, I mean, I've had coaches and therapists and counselors, and I've done a lot of energy work and all this stuff that we can get into. I mean, Holly was on our show and, she does the drums and everything. Like I've done all of that. And what's special about you and what was unique about you is that you were more, let's set up these tools for you. And I felt safe enough with you to be able to say, you know what, I am struggling doing this. Like there is something that's holding me back and all of those things. And being able to work through that and really set up a pattern. And now finally at the end of our 90 days, I was like, I got this now. Like this is now. And I mean, I had to get, there was things that I had to get rid of, sacrifices that I had to make. And I mean, the quarantine thing here is actually what kind of propelled me. But then I was like, but I have these tools already. So now being alone, a lot, I mean, I need people to thrive. And so being able to like really dive into myself and have those tools set up for me already has really helped me through this isolation period. So thank you for that.
I'm so glad to hear that. Yes, thank you for that. And I just love that you have that. And that's like, then the next step is sharing that process, right? And you're so good at that too, is like you share what you learn. And that's one thing I like to teach my clients is like, go into this with what can I learn and how can I reteach it? And then that way you're always practicing it and really understanding that it's not like all of a sudden after 90 days or 60 days or whatever we end up deciding that it looks like for you, that you're like, oh yeah, my whole life is different and like I can do all these things. It's that you now have all the tools in your tool belt to be able to be successful and to be able to say like, oh, here's what's going on. Here's what's triggering me. Oh, yep, I'm aware to that. And here's the tool I need to practice this. And then realizing that it's a constant practice. There is no magic pill to find self-love and happiness or to get abs. Because if there was, like, can we just all please get that? But it's not. To practice every single day. And it's helping give ourselves grace through that too. Is like, oh, okay, like this is something that it's a habit that I have to create. And that's the base root of my program is exchanging habits for habits. What habits do you want to get rid of and what habits do you want in place of that, and giving the tools for that, and then creating the boundaries to be able to maintain them.
Yeah. And it's a great process and a great program. And when we come back from this short break, I want to dive more into that program that you have.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome back to Coffee Talk Tuesday. My name again is Shalise, and this is Trip, and we're with the lovely Stephanie today.
Go.
Yay. So before we went on break, we were talking about your program that you have set up. Don't you have a couple different programs that you do?
Yes, I do. I do a group coaching program. I have a one-on-one program. There's two different versions of that. I have a 90-day program and a 6-month program. My program that's already been written, I created, is called Awaken Your Inner Powerhouse. And then I have another program that's 90 days that me and my client will kind of tailor specific to whatever their goals are and figure out like, okay, here's what your goals are. Here's how we can accomplish them over the next 90 days. Now let's go and make that happen. And then my group coaching is a 4-week program with typically about 10 women in that group. And we meet every Thursday night. We do a group call, and it's really learning the base root about self-love and what self-love is for you. And part of that process, and the reason it's in a group, is to help women learn how to show up for other women. I find that all women compare ourselves to every other woman, and we're judging other women, and we're trying to live up to this perfect mom, this perfect wife, this perfect whatever woman's supposed to look like. And because we're always judging ourselves, we're judging other women, and we're showing up insecure with that, and we're not able to show up fully and like love women and celebrate women and help them shine and be their best. And so part of the reason it's in a group is to help women learn how to see each other. And what I mean by that is how to respect each other and honor each other, not judge each other, not compare what season you're in, but fully celebrate one another and love each other and learn how to become friends. Like, I don't feel like that's something that we're really taught. Like, I don't allow judging. I don't allow gossip. I don't allow any of that if you're a powerhouse. That just doesn't work.
Wait. How do you have a podcast? Those are the backbones of every podcast. Judgment. Oh my God. Gossip. Saying horrible things. We're going to kick you out of the fraternity. You're too positive.
Oh, no. I never got invited. That's part of the problem. So I just created my own fraternity. I didn't like the one that was going on.
Okay. So you were a very positive person.
I am a very positive person.
What, a little gossip never hurt anyone, did it?
I think it does, because I think it's a seed within you that you plant to constantly gossip, right? And for me, I used to gossip all the time. And like, I had friendships that were literally built out of just gossip. Like, I used to work in corporate America, and corporate America is all about gossip, right? Like, you're sending IMs, like, did you see so-and-so? I can't believe this person did this. And like, that's every meeting after a meeting, you're like, oh, that was the stupidest waste of time, stupidest meeting. So-and-so, such an idiot. Like, I can't believe they would say that. They don't even know. That's all gossip, right? And that all that is doing is rooting in you negative energy, negative life, like power that you don't need to have in you. And I realized that I had friendships that were literally built out of us gossiping about other people. And after those conversations were done, we had nothing else to really talk about. It was like, oh, how are the kids? Okay, cool. Well, okay, bye. Like, and then our conversation would only come back if we had shit to talk about someone, basically. And I was like, that is not the person I want to be. And nor do I ever want someone to come to me and think that I'm going to say what they're saying to me to someone else. Like, I just don't want to be that person. And part of that was me speaking my truth. And I have a rule I live by that's living with integrity. And integrity means that you can't gossip. And so that's a practice of mine. That doesn't mean that I don't fail sometimes. But yeah, that's why I choose to not have that. In my podcast, we don't gossip. It's all just truth. And I'd rather have someone speak their truth to me to their face than ever gossip or feel like they can't have that safe place to come and be like, hey, you hurt my feelings. Hey, this is what's going on. Like that kind of thing.
There was a great pillow that a society matron by the name of Amy Vanderbilt had that said, if you don't have anything good to say about someone, come sit next to me. And
oh, so, Trip, as soon as I think that you're going to say something nice.
Smart? No.
I thought you were getting ready to quote Bambi.
No. So where did you work in corporate America? How did you transition from being a corporate maven into being a coach?
I love that. I used to work at Prestige Financial. I was the vice president there. I worked there for 10 years. I worked my way up as a collector, up to a manager, up to the VP. And that whole world was based upon gossip and within that realm of it. And that was part of like my life switch. So I got divorced. I hired a coach. I saw a therapist. I did all this, my own inner work. And I really became a completely different person. And I was like, I finally love myself. I'm proud of the person that I am. I love what I do every day. And I want to teach people how they can embody that and how they can do that. And so I started hosting events, free events for women to come and like to learn how they could show up for other women and how they could build friendships and how they could learn how to grow their mind and find self-worth and find self-love and honestly learn how to forgive themselves. Because I had a lot of shame. I had an affair in my marriage, and that's what ended up getting divorced from. And that was a lot of gossip about that too, right? And so I realized when people started gossiping about me how much I didn't want someone to gossip about me. And that was part of my awakening process of that. It was like, I would never want someone to speak my story when it's not their story to tell. And that was part of that. So throughout my process of just becoming who I am now, I started hosting these events, and I started realizing like, this is what I was created for. And so last year I went into my CEO's office, and I sat down and I started crying, and he's like, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, I'm giving you my month's notice, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to start my own company, and I'm going to coach women. And he's like, wow, okay. So do you have like 100 clients, or like, what does that look like for you? I'm like, no, I don't have one. And he's like, so you're going to leave your salary. You're a single mom, and you're going to go start a business. He's like, Stephanie, like, let's talk about this. I'm like, yeah, I have to do this. Like, this is what I was created for. And if I don't go do this, like, I'll never know what I can do. And, I still always get emotional about it, but it was like the most powerful thing I ever did for me. And my boss sat down. He's like, I'm 67 years old, and you just taught me what courage looks like and feels like. And I know that you're going to change every single life. So go do it. And I finished out the rest of my projects for that month. I cashed out my 401k, and here I am. I started my business. So yeah, that's how it all happened.
And have you ever regretted it?
No, never once. I've definitely had moments where I'm like, what am I doing? Why, like, what is happening? Like, how did I talk myself into this? Is this really the best idea? I've struggled. I've learned more hustle than I ever thought I had. I've grown more internally than I ever thought I could, but I would never, ever go back. And it's been the best part of my life. It's literally amazing. So yeah.
Wow. What a story. How many clients do you have now?
So right now I have 3 one-on-one clients, and I have 10 clients in my group coaching program. And I only like to have 5 one-on-one clients at a time. That's what I found for me works best to hold like the emotional space for them, and the support and the love and the guidance. And then I do my group coaching every other month, and that's 10 women that go into that. And then I do a lot of just like clarity calls and different like support. And I work with a lot of companies too. I do like culture training with them and help them learn how you can be visionary and see that kind of stuff. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And this is really an amazing story. And how did you find Shalise, or vice versa?
Well, that's what I said. Yeah. I mentioned it before. I heard her on the news or the radio. And
what radio station? I'm intrigued by that.
I don't know.
97.1. So 97.1 had me on the radio because of so I had done a fitness show, and they wanted me to come and kind of talk about how I got into that. And then when they started talking to me about it, they're like, oh, wait, like, so you used to be a vice president of this company and like all this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah. They're like, will you come and talk about that story? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And it was just that, like, to me, the question that I had to ask myself was, because it's like, it's scary, right, to leave a company, especially for everything that's going on right now. Like, there's all these people who are losing their jobs, who companies are closing, small businesses are struggling. And I think to me, it's like, okay, well, why is this happening for you? And part of like my divorce and everything like that all happened for me to be where I'm at today. Every mistake I did, every struggle that happened for me to wake me up to be the person that I am. And everything that we're all going through right now, this is happening, honestly, I believe, for us to help you step back. And like, maybe you would never leave a company and go start a business, but you've had this amazing idea that you're for the last 10 years, and now you just got laid off. Go start your business. Hell yeah. The world just worked out for you because you were too afraid to go do it. And like, now you can go make it happen. Right. And for me, I had to start asking my question, like, well, what am I really afraid of? What am I really afraid of? And the fear it wasn't about if I'll make money. Cause like, at the end of the day, I could always go find a job. I could go serve pizza. I could go do whatever. I'll make it out. I'll figure it out. But, and the fear was like, what if I'm not enough? Like, who's going to want to talk to me? Who's going to want to listen to me? And then I had to remember, like, if I can't believe in me, no one else can believe in me. And that was the day that I literally, for a year before I quit my job, I had been writing down, I'm a coach. I am a powerhouse. I'm going to change lives. I'm created for this. And finally that morning I was like, yep, this is who I am. And that's the day I walked in my boss's office and said, I can do it. And the fear was, I'm not enough. And I put that fear, slapped it in the face and said, I'm enough right now. Let's go. And so any of you guys that are struggling with like, well, I want to try this. I want to do this. What's happening? I'm so afraid. Like, try to look at it as, well, what's happening for you? What do you get to learn from this? What is the gift right now that you're being presented with? and see if that helps you shift at all and change.
Well, and that's what I found too. After every tragedy or every trauma, everything that we go through in life, it's always that next step that we get to, that next level of transformation or whatever. Like, we have to dig deep and find that. And actually, with everything that's going on right now, like, I'm a go person. Like, I don't slow down, and this is forcing me to slow down and really do that inner work that you and I actually worked so hard on to get to. That there was a lot of me that I wasn't at that point where I could really take a step back and be like, okay, now where is it in me that I can pull out that I really need to find? What is it? And I mean, that's something that I've learned years and years ago, though, too, is that from everything that happens that's terrible in our life, there's always something good that comes from it. And there's always that underlying reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah.
100%.
So, Trip, where are you going to dig deep?
Well, in my backyard, I might have buried some money before this whole situation started.
You're going to go on a pirate hunt?
Well, I think that you'll both agree that men are probably much less willing to listen when it comes to things about our feelings, caring about other people. Men are we are different, and we aren't very good at this stuff.
So then, Trip, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How would you suggest women approach you that, like, I mean, you're married. You have, I'm sure these conversations.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, it is hard. Like, men and women are different, and I've learned that. I've had relationships and things, and I'm actually getting to this point where sometimes where I realize that those differences are exactly what we need sometimes to balance each other out, and we don't all have to be the same, and that's what makes it beautiful. And I mean, no one person is the same anyway.
Primarily makes it a pain in the butt.
Well, that too.
It is a huge pain in the butt that you guys are so different from us. And when it comes to our feelings, we just don't have them. We are pretty much base, grunting. That's us. That's what guys are.
No, you have them. You just avoid them and suppress them, and it's really obnoxious sometimes. You need to work on that emotional intelligence every once in a while.
Yeah, I am not a Mensa
Keep
person when it comes. Yeah, I'm not Mensa. I'll guarantee you. Hey, Stephanie, tell us about your where do we find your podcast?
Yeah, it's called Just Talking. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on Anchor. You can find it on Spotify. It's all over the place.
That's a great. How'd you get that name?
Because I just want to be just talking about all the things. And
no, but you were lucky to get that name. I mean, I'm shocked.
I had to use quotations around it for Just Talking, but it got brought up because so I started my podcast a year ago, and I was dating this guy, and we got into this argument about stuff, and he's like, well, we're not even dating. We've just been talking. And I was like, oh, we're just talking? And I was like, oh, I don't think so. That's not what this is. And so I brought my podcast out to bring self-love and awareness into dating about like how just talking, but like you guys can, like people feel like they're in this full relationship and these expectations of that, but then people get too afraid of the commitment. So like, oh, we're just talking. And it's like this whole world of like just talking and being on Bumble or being on Tinder, and like you can just swipe and just talk to whoever, so you don't have people like committed. And so that was kind of how my podcast got started with that. And it was teaching women how to show up in that space and have the right mindset and like know what you're going through. So a lot of my podcasts, we talk about like relationships and how men can have feelings and emotions. So Trip, I'd love for you to listen to it and see if it can help you with it. And just to check into that and like learn how to be honest with ourselves and to be honest about everything. And then that kind of stemmed into just talking about all of the things throughout all of life. So.
Well, it sounds like a great podcast, and I think there's probably one or two guys out there that would listen. I mean, they're probably gay, but certainly not heterosexuals.
There might be. There's a lot of awesome people I've had on my podcast. It's been pretty fun. I love it, and it's just a good time.
No, and podcasting is one, and you are great on camera. You're great on mic, so I bet your podcast is really amazing. and I will give it a listen.
Well, especially when I'm going to be on it, because I'm going to be on it in a few weeks here, talking about my book.
Do I need Kleenex? Will I be crying?
Of course you'll be crying, Trip.
Okay.
We're going to see a tear from you by the end of this podcast, if you like it or not.
Yes. You don't have to squeeze lemon in your eye. Just something to get you to cry a little bit.
Okay. Well. But guys, my next show, just show you what a guy I am. The next show I'm going to be doing at the top of the hour is a boxing podcast. That's what guys do. We grunt and hit each other.
I like it.
That's what guys, you guys are much better than we are.
Well,
no way. We're all in it together. And actually, I would say guys are as emotional, if not more emotional than women. And it's just helping them navigate.
I agree with that too, because I have a lot of men in my life that are way more
Wait. You have lots of men in your life?
Yes, of course I have lots of men in my life.
Well, let's discuss this someday. How many men do you have currently?
Well, none, because obviously I'm in quarantine.
That was a quick answer response.
Yeah, there was some hesitation there. The only Stephanie, the only time my wife
get me in the doghouse.
The only time my wife has seen me cry was for a very emotional thing. When Kyle Busch won the NASCAR championship, I cried. So that's a real man.
Well, Trip, thank you for showing our viewers what a real man is.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, Stephanie, for being on our show and doing everything that you do to help people transform and change their lives and become better, and all the little things that you do to. Oh well, thank you, and so are you, Trip. You'll get there.
It's a long journey.
All right, guys. Well, we love to have you on the show again at some point, Stephanie, and I can't wait to be on your show. Trip, I'm glad that your computer worked today and your internet stayed on so you could continue on for the entire show this week.
I wouldn't have missed this one. I'm going to go cry before the boxing show.
You guys are amazing.
All right.
See you later. Thanks,
thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.